Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 24th June 2025. So let's get started with our discussion, guys. And let us see the first article. See the title. Iran launches missiles at US bases in Qatar, Iraq. So what is happening between Iraq and as well as Iran, Qatar, Israel and US? So what we discussed in our yesterday's class. Yes, US attacked Iran nuclear sites, right? So which are those nuclear sites which had been attacked by Iran? Natanz, Fordoz and Shavza. Okay, so these are the three important nuclear sites which had been attacked by US, which are in Iran. Okay, so now what happened? In yesterday's class itself, we discussed that Iran will not be silent. Yes. So this article says that Iran launches missiles at US bases which are located in Qatar and as well as Iraq. So you have to open your atlas and see this West Asian countries, especially Iran and bordering countries you have to see. And next one is where is this Qatar located and where is this Iraq located, and countries which are sharing boundary with these also you have to see. So from which subject we can see this, guys? From international relations, from GS paper 2 we can see. So what is the keyword that you have to select here? Keyword is Iran-Israel crisis. Yes. So initially what happened? Israel started attacking Iran. And later on, Iran also did retaliation on Israel. And Israel targeted two important areas in Iran. What are those? First one is military bases and next one is nuclear sites. And Israel is not having that much technology to strike nuclear bases of this Iran. So because of this, Israel sought for help of US and US directly attacked Iran nuclear bases. That is yesterday's story. And now the today's story is Iran did retaliation and Iran attacked nuclear sites bases of US bases in two countries, Qatar and next one is Iraq. So here, why this Iran attacked this bases in this Qatar and Iraq? What is the reason? Why didn't Iran directly attack this bases in US? So do you know this missiles? What is the range of a missile? Types of missiles? Long range, short range and medium range. So as these countries are part of West Asia, it is very easy for Iran missiles to attack the bases of US in these countries rather than hitting directly US, because missiles have a certain range, right? Okay, so that is a story. Now tell me, yes, Iran attacked US bases, right? So now what is the impact? What is going to happen now? Just guess. Yes, again US will strike back. Can that will lead to World War III? Yes, there is a chance of escalation of World War III. Next. US will? Okay, US can completely strike back Iran. Okay, very good. Next. Huh? Okay, it is like an economic war. Okay, next. Yes, increased escalation between this Muslim communities. Okay, next. Yes, nuclear explosions and radiation. Okay, next. Yes, global energy security will be getting affected. Very good. Next. Is trade and commerce, especially during whenever it is going towards the Suez Canal, will be getting affected. Loss of life. And what about India? Okay, oil barrel price will be high. It will be affecting our energy security. And next, tell me. Okay, stock market crash. So here we have India, and the issue is happening between Iran and US. So is US important to India? Okay, so what are the areas of cooperation that is there between India and US? Trade, security, defense, education, technology. Huh? Okay, Indian diaspora. Next. Okay, so India and US they came together to tackle China, to counter China. Okay, next. Come on, think, you can do it. Yeah, inflation, depreciation of Indian rupee, Indian rupee value will be decreased. Next. Again, investments will be getting affected or not. Not only in India, not only in US, not only in West Asia, but each and every country's investment will be getting affected. So if there is no investment, can we ensure development? No development. And next, what happens? GDP of the countries. Entirely the global GDP will be getting down. Because of this decreasing of global GDP, what happens? Increasing of poverty, increasing of hunger across the world. Next. Hmm? Decreasing of remittances, okay. Hmm? Tax. Okay, import tariffs. Okay. Huh? Forex reserves will be depleted. And tell me why Iran is important for India. Importance of Iran. Huh? Yes, Chabahar port development, and if we want to connect Afghanistan and Central Asia part, we need Iran help because Pakistan will not allow to use its land space or air space. Next, I said about one project IMEC, India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. In that, we have to reach this Middle East for sure. So here we are again taking help of Iran. So for that project to reach Europe, this West Asia part is very important. And next, think, you can do it. Yeah, that is Central Asia part. Next. Okay, if India wants to mediate between these two countries, how can India mediate? If you are a foreign officer, IFOS officer, then how will you decrease escalations between India and Iran or in US? Can we go for diplomacy here? Hmm? How? Come on, think. Okay, so in both countries we have Indian embassies and we'll try to mediate between the two countries. Okay, their embassy is also there. So, mm, okay, we can use which kind of international platforms? So we can use United Nations Security Council, that is United Nations Security Council, UNSC, to mediate this because it is an organization which is responsible for establishment of peace and security across the world. Okay, apart from that, okay, so here how you can get a question here is from prelims point of view, you can get question regarding Operation Sindhu. What is this Operation Sindhu? Evacuation of Indian students and as well as pilgrims from Iran, right? And second area where you can get question is map based question, especially regarding Iran. You have to see the boundary countries and as well as nearby water bodies. So in this area you can get a map based question. And next area here is even you have to see map of West Asia, and next one is IMEC. In 2025 already the question appeared in prelims regarding IMEC. Again there is a chance of getting question regarding IMEC. So all these are related to this issue now. So you may get prelims based question there. And from mains, so these are the areas that you have to focus. First one is what are the reasons? In these reasons, you have to see reasons regarding Iran-Israel issue. And next one is why US involved. In yesterday's class and day before yesterday's class, we detailedly discussed about what are the reasons between Iran and as well as Israel. And as well as in yesterday's class, we discussed why US involved here. So see that one. And next one is you have to see impact. So they may ask impact on entire globe, global impact, and they may ask impact regarding India. So what is the impact on India because of this Israel-Iran crisis? So they may ask these two areas, and you wrote already answer for impact on India, right? And now you have to make notes for what will be the impact on the globe. That is nothing but globally what will be the impact. So in this way, they will be asking you the question. And whenever you're writing your mains answer, you have to use map for sure and try to practice world map. Very, very important for this kind of questions. Clear? So now let us see the context. So if you see the context, it says that Iran launched missile attacks. Now they are targeting US military bases. So please make a note. Those places are, first one is Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Next one is Ain Al Asad base in Western Iraq. Please make a note, very, very important. And this is the second area where you can get a prelims based question. So they may give you pair based question. On one side they'll give air base name and country which they are present. And now I want to give you one homework, guys. So please collect air bases which are in news, which had been attacked by other countries. Even in India also in 2023 and 2024, air bases had been attacked by Pakistan. So see what are those air bases names and as well as in which country they located. Very, very important. Okay. So these are the two air bases which had been struck by Iran. One is in Qatar and one is in Iraq. So what is happening now is there is increasing of escalation between US and as well as Iran. So this Iran's missile attack, which marks a significant escalation of following US strikes on its nuclear facilities. So that means we can understand that there is tit for tat kind of attacks that are going on between US and Iran. And next one here is effective defense capabilities in Qatar. So Qatar is having successful interception of missiles, which highlights the advanced state of its air defense system. So actually what happened here is Iran went and threw the missiles on this Qatar's airbase, but Qatar is having very effective defense system. So because of this, Qatar able to strike down those missiles. So here we can understand that from Qatar, what we can get if you are having a good relations with Qatar, we can get effective defense system. So as we all know that in this Pakistan-India issue also, Pakistan tried to attack India by using drones and as well as missiles. By using our S-400 Triumph missiles, we strike down all those things, right? That means we also have very good air defense system. And if you are writing any answer regarding India-Qatar relations, can we get this point? Like Qatar is having a very good air defense system, so that we can get that kind of system, because we need that kind of system because of we are bordering with these two enemy countries, that is Pakistan and China. So please make a note here, Qatar is having a very good air defense system. And next one here is Qatar's delicate position. Qatar finds itself in a precarious geopolitical situation, hosting a largest US base in West Asia while condemning Iran aggression. So actually one important point here is why Iran targeted airbase in Qatar, because in Qatar, especially in this West Asia, it is one of the largest air base of US. So if they are targeting this, then what happens? The US power in this West Asia will be decreased. That is the thing which is mainly targeted by Iran. But Qatar is having very good defense system. So because of this, it struck down the missiles and the attack which had been done by Iran. And next one here is civilian caution and regional impact. So India advised especially US embassies, shelter and directives illustrates immediate human implication of military strikes. And actually India is very concerned about our Indian diaspora which is present in Iran and as well as which is present in other countries like Qatar and as well as Iraq. Why? Because Indians especially go and search work in other countries, right? Especially why Indians are going towards this West Asia, because we are having huge employment opportunities. Especially this West Asia is very much high in construction activities, and even oil oil will get more, and we'll be having huge employment opportunities there. So because of this, Indians, if they want to go out in search of work, means they will be opting for this West Asia, because it is very near also, right? Even if you want to go for Russia or US, it will be like very costly, but West Asia, we can use this waterways to reach this West Asia, and we can get good opportunities of employment there. So because of this, we are always concerned about our Indian diaspora, and we are talking with that embassies, and we are trying to get them back. Yeah, that is the thing. And see this next article. Sharp rise in women Maoists killed in operations in Chhattisgarh since 2024. So what is this title talking about? Maoist, men or women there? Women Maoist. Women Maoist killed in operations in Chhattisgarh since 2024. So can anyone recall what statement did our Union Home Minister made? Okay. So one important statement made by our Union Home Minister recently is to end Naxalism in India by 2026. So because of this, they started different operations in this Naxal affected areas. So can anyone tell me which is the Naxal affected area in our country? Yes, red corridor. How many states are there in that red corridor? 8 states. Okay. So in that states, they are doing on this operation. Can anyone tell me recent operation name? Operation Sankalp. Yes, Operation Sankalp, which went on side by side with this Operation Sindoor. So in that Operation Sankalp, we targeted especially elimination of Maoism in our country. So from that time onwards, this operation is going on, and number of Maoists, they are killed, and even in that operations, our security forces also had been died. Right. So now this article is saying that there is increasing of women Maoist killed in operations. Okay, so what can you understand here? Women. Okay, whenever there is any issue which is related to women, which comes under which subject? Society, which comes under GS paper 2, where we'll be studying about women and women related issues. Okay, now can anyone tell me why women Maoist are killing more compared to that of men? Can you see gender discrimination here? So actually now Maoists are going for a new tactics. What is that new tactics? Is recruiting more women and as well as girls in this Maoism compared to that of men. So because of this, more number of women are killed in these operations. So from which subject we can see this, guys? So first one is we are talking about Maoism. Maoism is also called as Naxalism or left-wing extremism. There are 3 names for this: Naxalism or Maoism or left-wing extremism. It is this which is present in your GS paper 3 under internal security. And next one is we are talking about women Maoist. It is important from your GS paper 2 under society, and even GS paper 1, society and social issues point of it is important. So what you have to see is what is ideology of Maoism, first of all. And next one is what are the causes of this Naxalism in India. And next one is areas. So which areas it is affected by Maoism, that is red corridor. And next you have to see what is the impact of Naxalism or Maoism. And next you have to see what are the measures taken by government so far to control this Maoism. So see all these areas, and from these areas you can get mains based question. And whenever you are talking about women and women discrimination or women's role and women's movements, you can use this article as a case study, guys. So in Naxal operations, mostly women Maoists are killed since 2024 in the operations of eliminating of Maoism in India by 2026. So in this way, you have to use this articles as a case studies or examples while you are writing your mains answer, so that you can enrich value to your answer. Okay, now let us see what is this article saying about. So recent data from Chhattisgarh state reveals that there is significant rise of proportion of women Maoist cadres they killed in security operations since 2024. Since 2024 onwards, in these operations, mostly women Maoists are killed in Chhattisgarh. So this is the thing which mainly said. And over 1/3 of Maoists killed in these operations from 2024 onwards, they were women. 1/3 means how much percentage? 33.33% of women they killed here. That means when we are comparing with the previous years, this year 2024 onwards, more number of women they are killed in this operation. So this is the thing which is mainly said in this article. So here we can understand that whenever there is sharp increase of women Maoists which are killed, when we are comparing with the previous years, and what we can understand that there is more recruitment of women and as well as girls in this Maoism. First important point that you have to see. And next one here is especially Maoists are shifting their tactics. Especially who will be joining this Maoism? People who are living in the forest, right? They are nothing but the tribal populations. And you are recruiting more women and girls from this tribal population. And next important one here is they are using children in insurgent activities, which highlights grave human rights concerns. So actually Maoist came up with this organization called as Bal Dastas. Please make a note. Bal Dastas. Very, very important. Bal Dastas are nothing but the organizations where they are using children to involve in this activities of Maoism. So whenever we are including children in this kind of activities, what happens? Will they leads to exploitation of children rights? Will they leads to violation of right to life and personal liberty? Will they leads to violation of right to education? 21A. So all those articles you can write here. So how Maoism is affecting children rights? If you are writing that kind of answer, can you include this point? Yes, because of this Bal Dastas, it is leading to violation of children's right, violation of human rights, violation of right to life and personal liberty, violation of right to education, and even violation of Right to Education Act of 2009. So all these points that you have to include. And next one is this practice violates child protection norms. And because of this, what will be the impact? Whenever children at a very young age or tender age, whenever they are including in this kind of activities, what will be happening in the future? Will they get proper education? Will they get proper ethics? Will they get proper employment opportunities later on? No, right? So we are going to have the long-term impacts. So it will be affecting education, it will be affecting health and the future opportunities of that so-and-so child. And next one here is economic vulnerability is a key driver in Maoist recruitment of girls, especially they are recruiting tribal people. So these tribal people, do they have proper economic activities? What is the economic activity of these tribals? They will be collecting minor forest produce like honey or gum or anything, and they will go to nearby markets and they will sell. That is their livelihood, right? For the food, they will go for hunting and they will be subsistence on this hunting, right? So because of this economic vulnerabilities, they are taking chance and they are recruiting this girls and children from this tribal families. And even because of poverty and lack of social safeguards, which makes tribal girls especially vulnerable to recruitment. And this article is also suggesting that poverty alleviation the protection programs that will be very, very crucial for counter-insurgency efforts. Yes, government said that we are going to eliminate this Naxalism by 2026. So can we do that by just counter-insurgency measures? No. So here one way forward which is given in this article here is the problem here is poverty, the problem here is lack of awareness and lack of education, lack of development. So we have to go for poverty alleviation. That means we have to bring them out of poverty. So how we can bring these people from out of poverty? We have to go for increasing of employment opportunities, creation of development areas, development activities in this area, and we have to make them self-sustainable. So those are the things that we have to take care of if you want to eliminate this Naxalism completely by 2026. Yeah, and next one here is operational intensity post 2024 aligns with government deadline to end Maoism. So why they are doing this operations continuously? What is the reason here is, as I said, our Home Minister came up with a statement that is ending of Maoism or Naxalism by 2026. So because of this, they are going for intense operations in this regions. And this article is saying that there is disparity between Maoist ideology and gender representation. So always Maoist claims that we are against patriarchy. What is patriarchy? Male dominant society is called as patriarchy. But here they are recruiting women. Okay, women remain absent in higher ranking leadership positions. Especially in this Maoism, we will be having leader, right, who will lead the group. So here they will always advocate that we are against patriarchy, but always leadership positions are there with male compared to the female. Female will be only supporting role. So here there is also changing of ideology in this Maoism that we can see. That's a new trend. And whenever you're writing any answer regarding women empowerment, can you add this? Even in this Maoism also, the ideology which is against patriarchy, where leadership roles are given to male, not female. Clear? So in this way, what are the points that you are seeing here, you can use in your answers for sure. So please make a note in your class notes. Yeah, that is the thing. And see this article. Beach Utsav held across 3 states stresses role of indigenous seeds in agricultural sustainability. So what is the keyword here? Beach Utsav. What is the meaning of beach? Beach means seeds. It is nothing but Utsav means celebrations or festival. It is nothing but seed festival. Okay, seed festival held across 3 states stresses role of indigenous seeds in agriculture sustainability. So what does this article mean? Title of this article means anyone? Indigenous means? Okay, we are promoting indigenous seeds. What is meaning of indigenous seeds? They are nothing but locally available seeds. So we are promoting locally available seeds so that we can promote agricultural sustainability. So why we have to promote this locally available seeds or plants? What is the reason? It is native or it is endemic. Next. Uh, Yes, even the climate change is happening, they are resistant to that certain circumstances or certain geography. Next. Yes, to promote biodiversity. Next. Even they are resistant to pest or different diseases. What happens if you're bringing a hybrid plant and if you're keeping? What happens? What are the problems with these hybrid plants? Damage is more and easily attacked by the pest or insects or anything. And can we grow for the long term? No, life is short. So whenever we are growing plants where we have short life, can we ensure sustainability? No. Why? Because now there is a problem of global warming, there is a problem of climate change. So because of this, if you want to ensure agriculture sustainability, we have to go for promotion of our indigenous varieties of plants. Okay, now tell me, who will have this knowledge of indigenous plants? To people who lives in city, they know about this. Then who knows? Villages, and especially in villages also, especially people who are living in the forest area. That means tribal people, they have indigenous knowledge about which plants are growing and what about the productivity. They have more knowledge than us. Will you accept it or not? So this festival, which is mainly celebrated in 3 states, and who are involved here? So if you see this image, you can understand they are belonging to certain tribes. Clear? So from which subject we can say this article? You're talking about tribes here. What is the role of tribe in ensuring environmental sustainability? Can we add this article from environment point of view? Next. Food security, yes. Very good. Next. Think. From food security, from role of tribals. Yeah, indigenous. From science and technology also. Can we add this article? So this article is important from your tribes, which is a part of our culture, and as well as society. And next one is science and technology and environment and ecology. In these 4 subjects, you can connect this article. Okay, now let us see the context in which states they had celebrated everything. So 4-day beach Utsav, that is nothing but seed festival, held across tribal regions at the Tri Junction. What is the meaning of Tri Junction? Tri means 3. Junction means connecting. So here in the Tri Junction of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, in these 3 states Tri Junction, for 4 days they celebrated seed festival. And why they celebrate it? They know that indigenous varieties are very, very important for our agriculture sustainability. And the key points that you have to see is indigenous seeds are the cornerstone of our agriculture sustainability. Why? Because if you want to maintain ecological balance, environmental balance, and if you want to ensure food security, and if you want to fight against climate change, that is nothing but climate change resilience, we need this kind of indigenous variety of seeds. And next one is we are focusing on community led seed system. So actually in this festival what they'll do is just they will exchange the seeds, that's it. So what are the seeds I have, I will be exchanging with you, and what are the seeds you have, you'll exchange with me. That is a seed festival. And actually why we are including this community here, they have good knowledge than us. So whoever having the good knowledge, we are including in this festival, and we are strengthening our local autonomy. And next one here is women plays an important role in preserving seed heritage. So do you know what is the role of a man and woman? If you go to primitive societies like ancient period, yes, men will be going for hunting and women will go for just gathering of food, right? So will you accept that woman is good at colors and precision of colors compared to that of men? Yes or no? And men will be good at GPS, that is nothing but routes, than compared to that of women. Why? Why we have this kind of notion? Woman is good at colors and men is good at driving or remembering the routes, maps. Why? What is the reason? Yes, so if you go to primitive societies like ancient period, before ancient period, if you go to this lithic period, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic period, so first of all, we have this hunting and gathering. So people used to hunt and gather the foods for their sustenance, right? So who will do hunting? Hunting will be done by majorly men. So they have to move from one place to another place to hunt the animals, so that men will be good at routes, maps. But what women used to do, women used to stay in the home, but just they will go for gathering of fruits, vegetables, tubers, etc. So based on the colors, if it is green color, it is called as unripe. If it is orange or yellow color, it is ripe. So that from this evolution of human itself, women are good at colors and men are good at roots compared to that of women, right? Okay, so here we can understand that women plays a very, very important role even in preserving of seed heritage, because women are nurtured in that way to collect food items. So because of this, they know about the seeds. So in that image also they shown women, not men. So here if you are writing about any answer regarding women and their role in environment preservation, can you add this point or not? Women are very much good at saving of indigenous seed heritage and knowledge. And this one here is, yes, we can get hybrid seeds in the market, but what are the problems regarding these hybrid seeds? Easily attacked by the pest. They will not adapt to our present environment. Then we have to go for giving of more fertilizers, more pesticides, more herbicides. Is that good for the health? No, right? That is the problem with this hybrid seeds. Hybrid seeds often they require chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and that will create health risk not only for humans, for animals, for both entire environment. It will be causing risk. And this one, even it is a financial burden for a farmer, yes or no? And that will also lead to environment degradation. So this festival which is focusing on indigenous seeds, which is mainly challenging our changing of our environment, changing of our agriculture patterns, and especially we are aligning with tribal ecological knowledge and practices, so that we can ensure agriculture sustainability. That is the thing, nothing more than that. And here, role of voluntary organizations in enabling grassroots movements. And please make a note here, we have Vagdhara. So you have a topic called as NGOs and pressure groups and other organizations. So in that topic, you can add this. So we have Vagdhara. It is a local group which is focusing on preserving of biodiversity. So whenever you're writing any ethics related case study regarding environmental degradation, role of organizations or groups, you can use this. Vagdhara, it is an organization which is focusing on preserving on biodiversity and as well as sustainable livelihood by improving awareness about indigenous seeds knowledge. Okay, clear? And some facts regarding this beach itself, it is also called a seed festival. It is held in last week of June and around 90 seed festivals taking place in our country. And who are the participants? Thousands of tribal people will be participating in this belt. Okay, nearly 1,000 villages and hamlets in this tribal belt at the tri-junction of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat will be participating here. And what they'll do, they will learn the techniques of preserving of indigenous seeds of different crop seasons. They'll start exchanging of seeds among the farmers and they'll encourage the participants to spread the knowledge of this indigenous seeds and they'll go for protecting and using of indigenous seeds regularly. Okay, exchanging of seeds, knowledge sharing, and they'll ask to spread the knowledge and they are focusing on preserving of that seeds. So these are the activities they'll do in this seed festival. And see this article. Iran's nuclear program, the illusion of a surgical strike. What is this article talking about? It's talking about Iran's nuclear development program and as well as US attack on this Iran's nuclear sites. So just recall what are the things that we discussed in our yesterday's class. Just see those three important areas where this US attacked Iran's nuclear sites and you have to see why US involved here. That's it, nothing more than that. Okay, this is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations again. So now there is renewal of the conflict which is happening between Israel and Iran and now US also involved in this and US targeted nuclear infrastructure of Iran and they attacked three areas. So here the first important points that you have to remember is Israel and US, they have launched strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. And this one here is Iran's nuclear facilities are heavily fortified and they have underground bunkers. So because of this, they will resist military attacks. So why Israel asked US for help here is, what are the missiles or what are the equipments that Israel is having, they are not able to shot out this underground bunkers because they are having heavily fortification. So Iran's know already that if this US will be attacking this Iran's nuclear bases for sure. So because of this, they came up with heavy fortification so that will be resisting even military attacks. So here, because of this, what happened was Israel asked help from US and US used bunker busting bombs. Very, very important. That is nothing but US GBU-57 bombs they used. And next one here is Israel is lacking the necessary weapons and aircraft to carry out fully effective strikes to target these underground facilities. And Iran has proven that capable of rapidly rebuilding its nuclear infrastructure after past attacks. So actually what happened here is Israel and Iran issue is going on and Israel want to strike out this Iran's nuclear sites. But Iran knows that in future there will be attack from Israel and as well as US and they fortified this nuclear sites very well so that they are having the resistance towards this military attacks. And finally US also targeted this. And finally what happened, so Iran is having the good technology and good capability and they are going to rebuild this and already they started rebuilding of their affected nuclear sites already. Okay, and this article is saying that whatever the military action they had been done by this Israel and as well as US, they will just delay, but they will not fully dismantle this Iran's nuclear sites. Okay, that's the thing which mainly said. and Israel, which is mainly relying on US military support and advanced technology for any substantial strike on Iran nuclear sites. But whatever the strikes you're doing by Israel and as well as US on this Iran, they can delay, but they cannot fully dismantle this sites of Iran. That is the thing which mainly said here. That means in future what happens, Iran can go for further escalation against this US sites, and as well as on Israel also they may do attacks. And that may lead to World War III in future if this kind of escalations will go on. Clear? So these are the important topics that appear in our today's Hindi newspaper, guys. And by this I'm concluding. And here in our Rathod Science Academy, we are going to launch new batch for prelims cum mains from 27th June onwards. And we are providing free demo classes from 27th June to 3rd July. And we are going to start the next subject, that is polity here. And polity classes will be taken by ex-Byju's faculty, that is Anubhav Saransh sir. So if you want to attend this demo classes, please do register, and registration form is given in the link. Thank you so much, guys, and please do like this class and share this class, and do subscribe to Rathod Science Academy. Don't forget.